As the Yidden approach the border of Eretz Yisrael, to the land that they are destined to conquer and to inherit, Moshe Rabbeinu, who will not be going with them to Eretz Yisrael, gives a speech, almost like his last instructions. In addition to his quote-unquote farewell speech, Moshe Rabbeinu also translates the Torah into all 70 languages. You see, Hashem and Moshe had the foresight that obviously the Yidden would not be going into Eretz Yisrael as a final solution. That would be left for the coming of Mashiach. Until then, the Yidden will be, like we are now, scattered amongst the nations. Not everybody knows Hebrew, Lashon HaKodesh so fluently, and therefore Moshe perfectly and accurately translates the Torah into all 70 languages, so the Torah will always be accessible and easy to read, no matter where the Yidden are and no matter where they go. What's interesting is that many years later, when the Jews were under Greek rule, the Greek king at the time commanded the Chachamim, he commanded the sages to translate the Torah into Greek. And they did it. It was actually quite miraculous because he took so many different scholars and stuck them in their own room. And through Ruach HaKodesh, through their divine intervention, they all communicated with one another to say and do the exact translation, each one giving the same subtle changes so that the Greeks don't take Torah and use it against the Jews. However, the Gemara comments on that, the rabbis comment on that the day that the rabbis translated the Torah into Greek for that Greek king was almost, if not just as bad as the day that the golden calf was made. That's how upsetting, that's how bad it was. But wait, didn't Moshe already translate it earlier, as spoken about in this week's Parsha? Why did that need to happen? Why did they need to retranslate it? And Moshe's translation was seemingly for a positive purpose. So even if they did have to translate it again, why is that a negative thing, and that it's so bad that it's just as bad as making the golden calf, which was complete idol worship? Explains the Rebbe that you have to really understand what the golden calf, what the Chet HaEgel was all about. Because the comparison that's made here is that when the sages translated the Torah into Greek, it is just as bad, not as the golden calf itself, but the day it was made. Because the golden calf was not inherently wrong in what the Jewish people thought. The golden calf, the Chet HaEgel, was never made to be another god. It was meant to be a replacement, chas v'shalom, for Moshe Rabbeinu. They thought Moshe was never coming back, and they wanted a new intermediary between God and us. What they failed to understand, what the Jews failed to realize, is that not always do you have to see the channel that Hashem communicates with us. Sometimes Moshe goes away for a little bit, but that doesn't mean he's gone. That doesn't mean Hashem is not communicating messages to us. So the day the Chet HaEgel, the day the golden calf was made, is not necessarily focusing on the sin itself. It's focusing on the potential for sin. That when you lose full emunah in Hashem and His messenger Moshe Rabbeinu, look what bad things could happen. And that is why it is compared to the sages translating the Torah into Greek all those years later. Because when Moshe translated the Torah, he did it so exact that the translation echoed and was an extension of the original Lashon HaKodesh, of the original Hebrew. But what this Greek king wanted is to take away from that authenticity. He wanted to rewrite Torah in that sense, which could lead to the potential for many misunderstandings, just like the Chet HaEgel was the potential for a sin. The day the golden calf was made brought about the potential for the lack of trust. But nevertheless, the Chachamim still persevered, because when you have emunah and you have bitachon, you trust in Hashem, even the potential for bad will go away. When you transmit Torah into other languages, to other people, to people who don't know, and you do it in the right way, it could have the same effect that Moshe Rabbeinu had when translating the Torah all those years ago. If your head's in the right place, the purpose that you're translating it for is for the right purpose, to spread Torah, to spread what Hashem wants, then automatically the potential for bad will go away, and it will surely have the right and proper intended effect. And when we do this in the right way, we're not just going to go to Eretz Yisrael for a temporary vacation. We're going there permanently, and we're going to stay in Mirza Hashem with the coming of Mashiach. May it come speedily in our days. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.